This is Wretched Radio with Todd Friel.
Oh, Anthony. This is Wretched Radio. No, not
Mark?
you, Anthony.
Oh.
Although that's probably the name that you got called when you were in trouble, and I can't imagine that happened often.
I got called. Yeah.
Nevertheless, not talking about you, talking about Anthony Hopkins. Thank you very much when you send stuff to idea@wretchedradio.com. The actor Anthony Hopkins apparently still acting. You know what's a sad thing to me? When these actors, they get older, and I know they want to keep working. I get that. But then they make these movies that are so embarrassing. Why does everybody who is an actor who is of some acclaim, they become 60, 70, 80, I want to keep making a movie. So it's some dopey heist movie. Or it's some college frat. They're going back to the college frat house, and they act like a juvenile. I just go, oh.
Played Odin in Thor.
Oh, you know what's worse than that, actually? Is when you see Christian men not behaving like men. When you see Christian men doing silly things. Can I just say as a rule, a Christian man shouldn't be a prankster, a Mary Andrew, a silly boy in any regard, ever. That's done. We're not that anymore. We're done looking childish. We put those things away. Few things to me are less helpful than when I see a grown man who claims to be a Christian acting in a childish way. It does not help. There's a way that a pastor could actually help his congregation to mature, to get old, and die. And that is to be the one who leads the way in resisting the temptation to bow to culture's demands. Stay youthful. Look younger than you are. You make your decisions about hair dye if you want to. But there are pastors getting facelifts? What? Pastor, show your congregation it's okay to get old and that you're okay with it and that we do not listen to the siren song of Hollywood that sings, be younger, be more youthful. Show your people how to get old. Show them how to die, and I don't mean your hair. Show them how to die. Show them how to be dignified all the way to the end, increasingly godly. And that should be true not just for the pastor, but for every one of us who is older, and I mean like over the age of 12. Start playing the dignified role that has been assigned to us, growing increasingly in dignity. And when pastors try to buck that and fight that, it tells the congregation, we need to listen to the world. I know it can be justified. Well, people will think I'm old. Right. You are. Exactly. So show them what that means and what that looks like. Give them a bar, a mark to shoot for, and show them that it's okay to die. It's okay to get old. There's something that comes with that the younger generation should be taught to long for, not the aches and the pains and the... Was I listening to? I got Brian Regan on the Comedy Channel in my car. Brian Regan talking about stuff hurting. He goes, why everything hurts. My hip, it just hurts all the time. Well, I guess I'll just get used to that. You'd bang your shin against a table. Well, I'll learn to live with that pain. Goes to the doctor. Hey, doc, my hip hurts. The doctor goes, yeah? Like I'm making small talk. Like, get used to it. You're old.
And how are the kids?
That's the way that it works. Just get used to it. All right, pastor. Show the congregation that's the way it goes. Because I think that's God's way of preparing us for heaven. Increasingly, have you ever wondered why somebody who is older, they die, and they're like, don't worry, I'm looking forward to this. And you think, you want to die? You want to die? Yeah, because God has prepared us for that. And if we keep listening to Hollywood, not aging, trying to defy it with our, like, you make your decisions about your face and your hair, and I'll make it about mine. Clearly, I don't make enough decisions, but the point is, making sure that you're as tight as you can possibly be with your, and then maybe a little tweak or a pinch or whatever it is there, or in the wearing of the clothes. Wear clothes that are befitting of your age. And show the younger people the progression, because God has set it up this way, I think, so that it prepares us to die well. Anthony Hopkins, there's a little picture. It was sent in to idea@wretchedradio.com. Here's the quote. My philosophy is, this is Anthony Hopkins' philosophy. Mr. Silence of the Lambs is now going to tell us how the world works. It's none of my business what people say of me and think of me. I am what I am, and I do what I do. I think that's Popeye's philosophy, too. I expect nothing and accept everything, and it makes life so much easier. Anthony, you don't know. Not you, Tony. Anthony Hopkins, if you're listening. Hold on, I've got a guffaw. You have no idea what you're talking about, sir. Don't know if I've mentioned this, but at our church, we're making our way through the book of James. It's wisdom literature. James, chapter 1 and verses 22 through 25, teach us the best way to live. Anthony, and now I am talking to you, Tony. If you want to know the best way to live, James gives us the instructions. And what do you know? It has everything to do with the Bible. James chapter 1 and verse, we'll start at 21. Therefore, lay aside all filthiness and overflow of wickedness, and receive with meekness the implanted word. There's our key thought, the word. Be doers, verse 22, be doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourself. For if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man observing his natural face in a mirror. He observes himself, goes away, and forgets what kind of man he was. All right, this was the illustration that our pastor, Ty Blackburn, used. A mirror can even be somebody coming, like your spouse going, honey, you got something in your teeth. You got something in your teeth. No, you still got it. No, you still... I'll go check it out in a mirror. So you go find yourself a mirror. You look at the mirror, and it's like, sure enough, there it is. That big piece of parsley. I don't even remember eating the parsley, but there it is, stuck in my teeth. And then you walk away from the mirror, and you don't do anything about it. You say, that's foolish. That's exactly what James is intending to convey. He is intending to mock the idea that if you don't do the word, then you are a fool. That is his point. But he continues. You walk away from the mirror, you go away, he forgets what kind of man he is. But he who looks in the perfect law of liberty and continues in it, and is not forgetful hearer, but a doer of the work, this one will be happier than Anthony Hopkins can ever imagine. Look, if Eugene Peterson can do what he did to the Message, I can do that to James chapter 1. Because that is his point. He who looks in the law of liberty, God's rules, 700 times in the Old Testament, the prophet said, thus saith the Lord. Do it this way. Now remember, the lie of the devil in Genesis chapter 3 talked about this at the Answers in Genesis conference, the Worldview conference about secular humanism. We see secular humanism straight away in Genesis chapter 3. God said, all of this, yours. This little thing, imagine the scope of that. One tree, there were millions of trees. Beautiful land, everything is gorgeous. All of that is yours. Just this one thing right here. God isn't stingy. He's very giving. The devil comes along and he offers the first secular humanist question, which is, says who? Did God really say? It implants doubt. Don't do it God's way. Trust me. Do it my way. Do it your way. You will be happy. That's what Anthony Hopkins is saying. I'm a secular humanist. I don't care about your rules. I certainly don't care about God's rules. And that makes me happier. Not according to the Bible, Anthony. He who looks into the perfect law of liberty, God's rules, and continues, and is not forgetful, but a doer of the work, this one will be blessed in what he does. There it is. Anthony Hopkins is not blessed. He is not happy. He is not at peace. He cannot be because he is not doing what God has commanded him to do. Christian, you and I can be Anthony Hopkins too easily. We need to be abiding in the word. If you continue in my word, then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free. The only way to be happy is to be obedient to God. Why? Because that is the ideal way for us to live. Why? Because God knows what is best. And when we write our own rules, we can pretend and we can come up with cutesy little slogans that get passed around the internet, but it only covers a heart that is never at peace. Why? Because there is no peace until you are at peace with the Prince of Peace and you are living the way that he is designed, because it is the best way. So how do you do that? Fill your brain. Read it. It's the implanted word. Keep consuming it. Think on it. Meditate. Do it. And you've got God's word on it. You will be much happier than Anthony Hopkins. Now there is an offer. Who can refuse? This is Wretched Radio.
Thanks for listening to the Wretched segment du jour. If you'd like more Wretched, you can listen to the most current stream for free at wretched.tv/listen, or you can become a club member and listen to our entire archive. Wretched, reaching the lost, equipping the saints, and strengthening the local church.